Hi, Grandin here, luthier guitar tech in the Indianapolis area. I've done a couple of these before. It's the Martin HPL guitars, which also stands for the high pressure laminate. And I've done a couple of these where the guitar was dropped and they break differently than wood because they're not wood, although the kerfing and all that and the bracing on the inside is still wood. So this one, when it broke, I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. On the lower bout here where the output jack is, it's split from here all the way down to here. And the same thing on this side, on the back, is it's split all the way down. And I've got that glued back together, but I have a piece that fell off, and the customer owner did save that piece, and it fits right in there. But here's my challenge: is I need to be able to clamp that not only down to the edge to get now you'll notice that there is typically where this is an easy wood glue repair, is I've seen these when they break, they leave a little bit of wood from the kerfing on the top, and they can just glue it right back using wood glue because this is wood and that's wood and it'll go back together. However, to seal up that crack in the HPL, I'm going to have to use like either super glue or some black epoxy in there. And I'm probably just going to attempt it with super glue for this reason, which you're going to see here in a minute. Is what I'm doing is, fortunately, kind of like putting what do you call it? I'm going to move the camera back up. Similar to resetting the sound bar or the sound post on a violin, a cello, an upright bass. I have these special tools where it's just a wood post and you stab it and then you feed it through the F-hole and get it where you need it close. And then using this tool, you can reach in and pull the top and push the bottom to get it set where you want it. And I've got a couple different smaller ones, bigger ones for doing a violin, a viola, a cello, or an upright bass. And they're real big. Most of the ones I use are curved, so you can get in there and then pull the post. So what I thought I'd do is I already fished the post in. I made a wood post that you can kind of see it right there. I already fished it into place going through the sound hole with this sound post setter. But now that it's kind of close, I can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go in through this hole and try to set it where it needs to be a little more. I think I can almost use my fingers. Boy, I think that just went right into place. Or I'm going to use my fingers to now I carefully measured that height. So here's the mistake I made. My plan with this, although I can use this hole to do it. My plan was to tie a piece of string for it first so I could pull it back out when I was done, but I think I'm good. I can just push it out of place with the output jack there. I'm gonna move the camera back down. So once I go to take the clamps off after it's glued, I can just reach in here and pull it loose and then shake it out through the sound hole. So it is the perfect height where when I apply clamping pressure to glue both this piece to the side as well as down these two pieces to close that seam up, that that post is just the right size where I shouldn't have any problem, just knocking it out of the way when I'm done. All right. Now I'm going to test that before I do. I want to be able to know that I can reach in here and, yep, there we go. So I'm going to be able to reach in there and pull that post out of the way. It's a semi-loose fit, but I measured it pretty exact so that, again, I just don't want this piece to move once I put glue on it. So my original thought was to use those super heavy-duty magnets, put one here, and then you get the other one close and it'll just suck right up. But I'm going to go this route instead. Now, what I'm going to do to glue this is I'm going to put super glue or some black super glue or epoxy or maybe just thin super glue on that crack. And this thing is snug enough and it fits good enough that I have to kind of tack it into place with the rubber side of a fretting hammer. So I'm going to put some glue on this, and let's see if I'll test my black super glue, which is a thicker gap filling super glue. And I'm only going to put it on these edges and avoid getting it stuck to that post. And then when it's all glued, I can just wick some more super glue into that section of it. So I'm actually going to mark that off. Give me a second here to grab a piece of yellow tape. All right, I'm going to mark off where that post is, just so I know. So I know it's there, so I'm going to avoid putting glue on that section. And then the same on here. Let's go with the 1/4 inch. That's a little too wide. And of course, the beauty of one of the beauties of doing this on the HPL is I don't have to worry about protecting the finish. I mean, it can be scratched, but I'm not sure what the actual chemical makeup of it is, but I have seen it broken like this, and it does very similar to Formica. I'm not sure if this is a paper and composite based or either do I know what Formica is. So I'm just going to mark on here where that wooden post is to avoid getting glue on the end of that post where it gets stuck in there. I'd rather not do that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is we'll come back. I'm going to go test to make sure that my black super glue that's a heavyweight, medium density will work. It's gap filling, and then we'll come back and get all this put in place. All right, I believe we are all ready to go. So what I had to do with the black medium super glue was the nozzle was plugged. I just had to put a new nozzle on it. I have a clamping block that's the curve. I've got a couple different sizes that matches that curve pretty exactly. And I have just using a little thin double-sided tape. I put the piece of Teflon on there just to keep it from sticking in case any of that super glue comes up out of there. I don't want to glue the wood to the guitar. And then I'm going to use the wood glue on here. So we're going to put that on right now. I've got a little paintbrush here to give it a nice even coating without getting too crazy. And then when I get ready to tap this into place, I'm going to put the super glue on this piece of wood because that's the leading edge is up. It's going to fit underneath. Okay, I'm just going to spread the wood glue out. I'm going to want to get a little bit of glue squeeze out, but not a lot of it. So, all right, now we're going to put a little bit of wood glue on here, on the kerfing. Again, just to give it a thin coat. I'm going to spread it around with my little paintbrush here. And I've got a wet rag, a damp cotton rag ready to go to wipe up any glue squeeze out. And then I've got paper towels. Put this in the water. Now, I can grab it right here because I've got my lines on there that show me where I'm just going to put a little bit of this gap filling black dyed super glue on there where this has to meet up with the piece it broke off of. Good enough. Now using the paper towel, I'm just going to get a little bit of that super glue off of there. I really don't, well, okay, I'm going to put a little more, a little bit indecisive here. I'm going to put, of course you've noticed I put down a piece of paper here to protect the guitar in case I drop anything on it. It's always a good idea to protect the finish of the instrument you're working on from mishaps, drop tools, what have you. Now, I'm going to start sliding this in and to very gently start I'm going to have to work fast here. Start tapping this into place. And that's about it. Now, I'm going to put a clamp on it. Whoops, I thought I had my clamp set to the right, but there we go. Whoops, dang it, I hit the wrong lever. Now, did I get any wood glue squeeze out a little bit? So let's just clean that up. There we go. All right, I can set this aside. And using the speed set in a couple hours, I can take the clamps off it and we'll see what it looks like. All right, we'll come back and check when I take the clamps off. And then when this is done, all I have to do is to set up and let them know that it's ready to go. See you later. All All right, back here with this HPL Martin, I've got the clamps off, and just around this edge where there was a little bit of glue squeeze out, or where the edges came together with just a little bit of an overhang, I'm just lightly going at this. Where's that nice sharp spot on this one? There it is. With a very sharp scraper and just evening up those edges. Like right here where that piece was out, there's a little catch there. And if you have a good sharp scraper and you get it just right, you don't even have to follow with sanding. I use a hand scraper like this a lot on really fine wood where I just want to take off, you know, thousandths of an inch at the most at a time, or get a nice long curl of a piece. And there's a little bit there too. There's a little bit of glue back here. I did the other side already. That's perfect. So there we are. I think at this point, all I need to do is now go do the setup on it. And then I'll give it about a little bit of time here to do the setup, and then we'll give the customer a call and he can come pick it up. All right. See you on the next one.